Okay, we're over here at the tractor again, and you can see, if I take that oil can out of the way, you might be able to see a bit better. But you can see the very back left-hand head bolt as you sit on the seat has a little hole next to it. And we're going to put the cam in and the lifters in before putting the cylinder head on. But look, certainly while the cam's out, take the time to make sure this little hole here is not blocked. It's got nothing stuck in it at all. And that goes to the rear journal of the camshaft. Now, on the rear of the cam, you can see we have a little flat, and the oil pressure comes along the oil gallery, and when the cam turns and this flat opens, and it has a flat here too, but it squirts a little bit of oil into the system, and this one here gets a couple of goes at it, and it puts a bit of oil in, gets a second bite for some for lubricating the cam, but the rest of the oil from here comes up this little hole here and supplies the rockers with oil. So just take a moment and check that's nice and clear while you have the cam out. Even if you have the head off, just make sure you can get right down there and that's clear. Well, we're around the front of the engine here, and I've put a bit of aviation cement. There's a gasket in behind this, the back timing cover, and I've put a couple of bolts just sitting in here loosely at the moment to hold it back, just so we can line all that up correctly. I've given our little cam thrust washer and holding bracket a bit of a clean up, and I've got the bolts sitting ready here. So if we pick the old cam up here, now on the cam, as you see it sitting here, that's been all washed up and it's clean. It's got a bit of a stain to it, but it's clean enough. And look, I'm just using this cam and lifter lube, and that's left over from an engine kit. Now look, if you haven't got that, don't get worried. Just cover it with the oil can. You get the oil can in there and just the normal oil that you would like to run in your engine, put in it, and that's plenty. You don't have all this special shit when you when you start it when she's 20 years old, do you? It's just the engine oil that gets it going. It will have a little bit of oil around it then, but I'm just using this because I've got it and I wouldn't mind using it up. And I've got nothing more to use it on except bloody old tractors. We'll put a bit on the cam followers when we drop them in. And I'll spread that out a little bit here. And the grey colour, it'll be a Moly base, this oil, this grease. We won't worry about spreading it around the cam lobes yet. So we should be able to slide him in there nicely. Might have to pull the distributor out again, Lance. Get that out of the way. The gear's not in there, so it shouldn't matter. There we go. We just have to keep supporting it until we get it right back. Now I can put a bit around the front here. By a bit, I mean a fair bloody bit. And this will just look after it all, on initial start up, and it'll help it out. Now when you get to this part here, put a screwdriver up the spout, try and find the hole. There we go. Thought I had to shut my eyes there for a minute. Yep. Bit more lube around here. Now there is a camshaft end play movement. On how much the cam should move back and forth. And look, unless you can really feel a lip there and you see a lot of slop, don't get too concerned about it. But it's a measurement. If you feel like doing it, just jump into it and do it. It is in the book. I can't remember what it is straight up. I'll try and bring this out a little bit. I'll grab my rag, drop my spanner, and just for the moment we'll put a screw in, a bolt in here, just to help locate everything, keep it all in line. That's starting okay. All right, and on these bolts, I just like to put a tad of Loctite. Look, it's just a thread locker. Getting a bit thick, getting a bit old, that one. And the Loctite's not holding them in, it's just once it goes in there, any vibrations and that, it will stop them from coming out. So. Now being a 5/16 UNC bolt, I suppose you do these up to around 20 foot-pounds. I'm not going to tension them, I'm just going to do mine up. So hopefully with a couple of bolts in the bottom, there's a dowel here and a dowel there, that will, hopefully anyway, keep us all in line for putting the timing cover on later. It'll be quite a while before we put the timing cover on. We're just fitting the cam now, and where the cam is at this point in time, it just doesn't matter at all. Okay, now we should be able to, just with very little effort, turn that cam over. Like I say, at this stage we don't care where that cam is, it just doesn't matter. I'm just testing back and forth. Look, I can, oh, there might be a little bit of end float there, there is some, but yeah, look, the position of this at present just doesn't matter to us. We're only actually sitting that there so we can put the cam followers in and get that bit buttoned up. So what you can do now also, and that's what I do, so I suppose you can follow along if you feel like it, is down that back hole that we just cleaned out with the air before we started this job, I like to put a few squirts of oil. And we'll clean that up before we put the head gasket on. But look, just a little bit of oil down the gallery just can't hurt. It's one of those things, if it doesn't do any good, can it do any harm? Well, no, it can't. So I'll go and get the cam followers and we'll just slide them in. Well, now we've got the cam in, we can pop the cam followers in, and once again I'm just using the cam lube here, just to use it up. If you have engine oil and that's all you have, just use it. There's nothing wrong with it. that could sit down in there, that'd be good. There we go. You can feel it when they push right down onto the cam. You can feel them bottoming out. You just got to line them up with the hole. Once you've lined them up, they'll just push down easily with your finger. And just remember, when you're when the engine's running, the cam pushes them up, and the tension of the valve spring not only closes the valves, but it also helps the lifter back down to shut, or right down, so you have your valve clearance. So look, they're all just sliding in nicely with my finger. And this is just, like I said before, just initial start-up lube. It'll wash away shortly. Okay, there you go. They're all in. Now, what I also like to do now is grab the oil can and drop a bit of oil down in the bottom of each cam follower, so that when the push rod goes down in, it's got lubrication on the surface. And there's a little side hole in the cam followers, and they do get lubricated, but yeah, just a little bit to get them going. So that's it. That'll be the end of the video on fitting the cam and setting the cam followers in. We haven't covered the timing of the engine at the front here. There'll be a video or two just on that subject and nothing else. There's a few different ways we can do it, and we've decided to follow the book, and we're going to put the cylinder head on so we can put a dial gauge up on one of the rockers and follow along as per the book, instead of just guessing. So let's see how we go with all that. Another thing we were going to do, and I'm halfway through doing, is we'll pull the starter off, and there's a little timing mark here. I'll show you where the piston is with that, and whether it's on top dead centre or whether it's slightly after top dead centre. So we might do a quick video on that as a separate item.